This is Rochester in Kent. From Norman castles, Charles Dickens' home and the second oldest cathedral in England, the history of this town spans centuries. One place where this history is especially prevalent is Rochester Independent College, which is made up of a collection of mainly listed buildings and their grounds, with a timeline of the area traceable back to the 6th-7th century AD. We were recently very kindly given permission from the school to explore and search the grounds for the evidence of this rich history. We unearthed some wonderful treasures in our previous video, but this film is dedicated to an amazing discovery we made. Come with us and watch as we uncover a previously unidentified mystery.
An Anglo-Saxon Jutish burial ground from the 6th to the 7th AD was found at this site, and then throughout time it has been a brick quarry in the 1500s. In 1681 there were timber-structured tenements and a malt house with a chalk-lined cesspit and cherry orchard planted on the hill. At one time it was a Finnish embassy, and there is also a row of Georgian houses. There have been 3 mills on this site: Star Hill Mill, Friday's Mill and Boys or Belsey's Mill, one of which burnt down in 1852. All the mills have been demolished, and all that is left of them now is a lone wall from the Boys' Mill, around which we found something unusual.
There's loads of slag glass. I wonder why there's loads of slag glass.
So what is that? It's as if someone's been manufacturing?
Yeah, it's like the byproduct of making iron.
It's a really beautiful piece of slag glass.
Yeah, there's beautiful
Like it
greens.
could have been a forge.
Yeah, maybe. That's mad.
That's so interesting. This is so interesting.
So much slag, which is really weird. I don't understand why it's here. This is an old mill, so they must have been making iron here somewhere. But look how many pieces of pottery there are everywhere as well.
It's a really, really beautiful bit of slag.
This path is strewn with the stuff. Look at this big. Look at this. This pretty.
Ooh. Wow. It's a giant bit of slag. We've done extensive research, and it is still a mystery to us why there is so much slag around the site of the 3 mills, as there is nothing suggesting that there was ever any sort of forging or ironworks in this area. So let us know in the comments if you have any ideas.
We were not the first people to search this area, as there have been numerous archaeological digs in the past, and we found that many of the things that we were finding were very similar to items that had been found before.
Look, this pile of dirt we've already found. Clay pipes.
There's some blue and white pottery up there just on the other day.
Yeah, there's some
The
blue
blue
and white
right there.
here.
Oh, it's exciting.
Tiny tube of glass.
Yeah, the malt pipe stem.
It is. It's a pipe.
It's a piece of pipe bowl.
Wow, this garden's amazing.
It's a shame.
I think it's got a maker mark on it though, on the side of the heel.
H-I?
Will we find out who that is?
Shame.
I know.
There was an archaeological excavation in 2004 on this site during renovations. These are some of the items found at the time.
It's got a little house. Oh, it's got a weird... Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's lovely, isn't
That
it?
is lovely.
As I've been digging this metal signal, I've come across some pottery. It's beautiful.
It's a bit of Westerwold, I think.
There's so much to find, isn't there?
It's
Still.
mad.
It's incredible.
Want to dig a hole.
Westerwold was imported from Germany around the late 17th century and throughout the 18th century.
Some tin glaze.
This is Douthware or tin glaze pottery, dating from the late 17th century to the early 18th century. In his conclusion, the original archaeologist wrote that useful information relating to the development of the area was obtained along with one of the best collections of post-medieval pottery yet recovered from Rochester.
It's an old bottleneck.
I think this might be a mallet bottle. I think this is the onion bottle.
Oh yeah.
It's a different colour. And it's, yeah, I think it's wider base too. This is, I think that I've never found an onion bottle. I'm not exactly positively sure, but I'm pretty sure that is the top. Or maybe it isn't. I don't know, we're going to have to research. This is definitely, I think, probably the top of an onion bottle. Yeah, and I think these are all basically... These are mallet bottles and onion bottles dating from the 17th to the 18th century. That is amazing.
That's absolutely incredible.
You see his face?
Oh gosh. Oh look, no way.
That's not the same thing, is it? Is it? It is!
Oh, we can stick that back together.
Yeah. All of these items were found in a 17th century cesspit that would have originally belonged to the timber structure that stood here before. There were oyster shells, pottery, glass, animal bones, 39 clay pipes, and one other very special find. This at first unassuming Frisian stoneware jug, but when we held it, we immediately realised there was much more to it.
There are nails inside. I can see little nails.
My God, so there's hair, there's nails.
I can definitely see nails, and there's a lot of hair.
It's a witch's bottle!
So much hair. What are those? So I see the nails, but it's thick bits. What are the thick bits?
Yeah, I don't know. So much.
What sort of stuff would they said? Pins and nails and hair and urine and fingernails. Look how blonde that hair is. Witches' bottles is the name given to 17th century glass and stoneware vessels believed to have served as objects for protection against witchcraft. If you were bewitched, ingredients would be prepared, put in a bottle, and then placed somewhere around a building or thrown onto a fire to work as counter magic. The bottles contained a variety of items, most often pins and nails, thorns, fingernails, human hair, and urine. There were also sometimes the inclusion of a small felt heart with pins in it. These bottles were not prepared by the householder, but rather by people known as the cunning folk, who would make themselves available where needed and put together the bottles as part of a cure. The thought was that the witch would be trapped inside the bottle, and the pins and nails would inflict pain. The use of the urine was suggested to make the witch unable to pass urine themselves. Wine would be used to drown the witch and rosemary to ward off spells. This curative procedure was written about by various authors, including elite educated men, but its existence in ballad form shows how it was also known about by a broad spectrum of society.
So, sometime around the 1680s, illness hit a family living in one of the newly erected wood-framed tenement buildings along the St Margaret's banks of the River Medway, just outside the city walls of Rochester. As the usual herbal remedies failed, the patient's hair was cut off and their urine collected. Both were placed with nails in a stoneware beer bottle. The bottle was corked and concealed in the cesspit behind the building and in front of the cherry orchards higher up on Lark Hill. Now this was done, the bladder of the witch that had cursed the patient would equally be corked. The witch would swell and search in vain for the bottle. She would either come to the house of the sick person and demand the cork be released, or she would die as her kidneys failed. Either way, the bottle would allow the curse to be lifted. Then, the bottle could remain, secretly protecting the building from future witch attacks. So, this bottle has been lying for 300 years under the house, protecting Rochester Independent College. So, the archaeologist that originally found this bottle, it appears that he didn't know what it was, or didn't recognise the contents, didn't realise there was contents, or didn't make the link, perhaps because it's the only, or one of the only witch bottles to be ever found without the Bartman face motif.
Yeah, I think it's an unusual.
Yeah, so maybe that's why he didn't make the connection. But as soon as me and Mum held it and felt that there was something inside, Mum straight away knew that it was a witch bottle. And then when we got the camera inside with the torch, it was a eureka moment. Yeah,
it was very obvious. It was a weird feeling, wasn't it, to see the hair, to see the colour of the hair and how good condition it was in. We all kind of stood around, and I swear the hairs on the back of my arms went up.
Yeah, it was a very strange feeling holding it after all that time, and it's an incredibly personal find, and I think we both feel very privileged that we got to hold it and that we got that moment of realisation of what it was. And obviously we didn't find it, but the chance to identify it was, yes, it was a very, very cool feeling.
It was. But it was strange how the series of events that, that would happen. We went there to Mudlarking. They kindly showed us the things that had been dug up, and then
brought them up out of the cellar.
Yeah, and then there it was. It was meant to be, I suppose.
And everyone at the school when we were there got quite excited along with us, realising what it was. And then the school got in contact with the Museum of London. They have a designated project at the moment, along with the University of Hertfordshire, all about witch bottles. And then we came along and gave them one, which is the only known witch bottle
in the whole world
that hasn't had its contents examined. So I think everyone is quite excited about that.
The museum's quite excited.
It is only the 147th witch bottle
with its content
discovered in the whole world throughout history. There are probably many more undiscovered out there in fireplaces and beneath hearths and in cesspits, but ours is the 147th found. We will be going on the 19th of November and watch the bottle being x-rayed to see exactly what is inside. So we will keep you updated with what is revealed. I think the Museum of London is going to be making their own video of the x-ray process.
It's also been in the Daily Telegraph.
Yes, and BBC South East and a couple of other publications, yeah.
And on the radio.
A couple of radio stations have talked about it, yeah. In some of the articles we are named as they say we are credited with the identification.
This film is it's an unusual film for us. It's not our normal format of a film, but we sort of felt, because this is such an important object, that we didn't really know how to go about it, did we?
No, because obviously we did not find the item, but it was such an exciting moment for us that we thought we'd share it with you. We didn't find it, but we were involved in the process of it making its way to the Museum of London. Me and Mum have always been fascinated by witch bottles. If you've seen some of our films, you can obviously tell we enjoy folklore. So to be able to hold one was incredible.
And to have such a rare one. Yeah.
And that it's unfortunate that it didn't have its cork, but that meant that we got to look inside, and we obviously started making up all of these ideas in our head of who the person was the family. So we will keep you updated when we learn more about this bottle. We also have to say a massive thank you to Ellen and Alistair and everyone at Rochester Independent College for, first of all, allowing us to come, and for being wonderful and showing us around, and everything they've done with the museum and the various press to get this wonderful item out there. And we just wanted to thank you for watching. We hope you have a happy Halloween, and we will see you next week when we're back normally mudlarking on a Thursday, just a normal mudlarking film. So we hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye!